Okay, here's a really quick tutorial on how to use Canva to color an image. The process itself is very simple, but the the steps, the actual doing of the coloring does take some time, does take some work. So you can use your mouse or you can use a stylus, but this is how the process works. So first, you want to start with your image. Generally, it's going to be something with a white background. And as you can see right here, the canvas that we're working on also has a white background. This is where you want to start, or it can be any color. But let us make the background a different color so that it will be easier for you to see the transformation. I'm just going to pick a random pink color here. Okay. Now I've got this image, this regular image, on top of a background that is now dark pink. The first thing I need to do is to get rid of the background. So we're going to edit this photo, get rid of the background. And I'll do it again just so you can see the steps. So I clicked on the image here, edit, go to tools, background remover. Okay. And this is what you should come up with. Now make sure you're using your cursor when you touch your image. So now you can see as I move the image around, all the white has gone and now we're left with an image that's clear. And all you have is your outline. Now from here, what you actually want to do is make another copy of this image. So I'm going to take this one image and duplicate it. So now I have two images. I'm going to take the first image, center it on the page or wherever it is that I want to put it. I'm going to take the second image. I'm going to lay it right on top so that the images match. Now we're going to begin the process of coloring it in. So coloring isn't that easy of a thing to do. This, again, the process is very simple, but it's not necessarily easy. So, and it doesn't matter if you're using a stylus or a mouse. But the first thing you want to do is to zoom in, and we're just going to color this heart right here. Okay? Now, since we're using a dark pink and I want you to be able to see it well, I'm going to choose a contrasting color. Let's try this. I like to, in the mood for orange. Let's do a nice orange color. Okay, so let's try this one. Orange color. Which isn't working. Let's try. Okay, so then that's okay. We have to. Okay, here it is. So we picked our orange color. Now the first thing you want to do is make sure that you pick the tool that you want. You can use your highlighter, you can use your marker tool, or you can use this thinner tool, which I would say is probably a pencil. I'm going to use this marker tool, but you can use any tool that you want. I'm going to pick a weight for the tool, and here I'm going to start with 36. I'm just going to see how big this marks with. Okay, this is good. This is a good starting point. Now, we're going to start with the most obvious thing here, which is just to take that tool and work it around. We're going to do the inside of our graphic whatever this graphic is. So maybe you want to do some coloring for a book that you're working on. Maybe you have an art project that you're keen on working on at this time. Maybe you're just doing something for fun. But in any case, you just want to start with very basic steps here, just going around, coloring inside with your tool. And just as you would as if you were coloring something in real life by hand, you want to make sure that you stay within the lines as close as possible. But as you can see, I'm going to take that back, take that one back. As you can see, go back again. Okay, I'm going to go back again. That little spot doesn't seem to want to play along there. But as you can see, even though I'm not entirely in the line all the time, it's not, you'll see that it won't make that much of a difference. Okay, so now I've used my really huge point here. So now I'm going to use a smaller brush. I think I'm actually going to go down to maybe a 4. I'm going to increase the size just a little bit for myself, just because I like the larger screen. So now I'm going to start going in, getting in really close to these edges here. Okay, go real close, get all those little pixels, little tiny pixels. Get as close to the edge as possible, but you know, if you don't get to the edge, it's quite all right. What you want to do is just give it your best, because as you will see in the end, there's a little trick that I will be using to help us get those straight lines. Okay, so as you can see here, the tool will help you to create pretty straight lines on its own, right? So pretty jagged edge when you try to do something freehand. But even with a straight line, it's not always exactly lined up with the thing that you're trying to fill color in with. Okay, let's go up here to this edge here. I'm going to do one more over here. So, you know, just go in and clean up your image as best you can. And now here, it's colored in, and it's not so bad, actually, right? So it all depends on what your purpose is. But you're not here because you want an okay solution. You want a really good solution to what you're working on. So now that you've colored this in, the next thing you need to do is to go into the layers. So you're going to look at the layers. Make sure you click this tab here. And what you'll see are all the little marks that you've done. Okay, and you can see that as I scroll down, you know, it kind of jumps from one to the other, right? Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this, all these marks, all these colored marks that you've made, and you're going to combine them and group them. Now, how did I do that? You click the first one at the top, scroll down to the bottom, click Shift, hold down the Shift key, and then click the last one. And all of them together will highlight. Now you want to go and click Group. And now the image is grouped. Okay. And now, also looking at the layers, you see here we have our markings, and then we have the two outlined images that we started with. We're going to take one of those and put it right on top here. And look at what happens. See how smooth that line is? And it looks as if it has been filled in directly. You see that? I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring it back. See, there's that jagged edge. And now I'm going to move it back to the top. And now the edge is smooth. Now let's do it again. We're going to stay with this very same image, and we're going to go back to our drawing tool. Let's pick another color for this. Let's pick a darker orange, I guess. I'm going to show you something. One more thing. Now, we're going to go to the next step of this, repeating the process that we started before. I'm going to start with a pretty small brush because I'm working in a smaller area. I'm going to increase the size here. That's not a very good color for this. I'm going to pick another brighter color. Let's pick this light blue here. Okay. Get a brush. I'm going on the right size. I'm going to start by just filling in the space. Okay, we're not going to do all the little petals here, but we're just going to do this one here. And again, we want to get as close to the line as possible without going over. Okay, I'm going to zoom in just a bit and get a smaller brush. See if we can get the last of these pixels going in here. Okay. Now, one of the things you'll notice here is that this is very forgiving. That means that you don't have to be precise. I mean, you do have to take your time, but you don't have to be fully precise. And that is because in this particular instance, we're working with something that has pretty thick lines for the outline. If you're working with something with thinner lines, you would have less leeway. Okay. So now we have this petal here that's been done. I'll clear it up here just a little bit. Get some of these little extra pixels right here. And you go to the level of detail that works best for you and your project. Okay, so now I feel comfortable with that. Now I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to put the marker away, and I'm going to go to up here and start working with my layers. I'm going to connect all of my markings together, grouping them. Okay, and then I'm going to put the second outline on top. As you can see here, crisp coloring in of this image here. And you simply repeat the process, going back and forth between the different positions for as many colors as you want until you get through with your image. Now, one other thing that I want to point out is that let's say you're working on something and you've colored in something in, let's say it's in this orange here, right? So I know this is orange because when I hover over this particular bar, the orange heart lights up. And when I hover over this bar, I know the blue markings light up. And so now I'm going to focus on this little heart here. Let's say I've colored it in, but I really don't like this color. Because they're all the same color, you can very quickly change that color just as you would any other thing. So you hover over the grouping, click on the color changer, and pick the other color that you want. I'm just going to pick a blue here. And there you have it. It changes color. Now let's say I want to change that light blue. I'm going to click on this light blue here. And I want to change this color to yellow. And there you go. So you can do this for any image for which you can get a clear background. And again, I recommend it for ones where you have a really large border to work with. And that's it. I hope this helps.